That footage is quite clear. This is your favorite host here, Steve, welcoming everybody to the channel. Now, why don't we get on with this episode? Now, for our first reaction, let's you and me watch this together. But apparently we got a man who goes to a theater to watch a movie, and once it's done, he realizes he's the only one left, with the exception of something strange in the theater with him.
Hey, movie's over, man. Theater's closed. You hear me? Gotta get going. Sir?
What the hell was that? And there's no comments on this video either. If I was gonna be retrospective about this in any shape or form, I would say that that's bound to be AI. It seemed pretty real, right? But then again, everything looks real these days. That gave me a hell of a fright though. Oh my God. I'm just kidding. I'm way too much of a man to be scared about something on an Instagram video. Jeez.
Hey, movie's over, man. Theater's closed. You hear me? Gotta get going. Sir?
Okay, this next video is about a lady who's returning home late one evening when she hears chanting.
What the? Shh. Did you guys hear that?
Turn the flash on.
What?
Listen.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. I don't know where it's coming from. I genuinely what is this? It just keeps going.
Has anybody ever heard that Mongolian throat chanting stuff? If you haven't, look it up. It's incredibly familiar to the sounds I'm hearing right now, but this don't look like Mongolia, and this woman does not sound Mongolian.
What the fuck?
What's following her?
Multiple people chanting. Then, as Audrey gets closer, she sees it. The sounds suddenly stop. Then, a cloaked figure can be seen emerging from the woods as she runs for her life. Audrey was able to make it out safe, but staying in the middle of nowhere and hearing so many people in the pitch dark woods chanting, did she encounter a cult or just what?
Did you see anybody in a cloak? I didn't see anybody in a cloak. I just saw a woman running. I mean, I do that in the woods, right? You get these cults and people that are surrounding stones and doing all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know. You tell me, did you see anybody there wearing a cloak? Not me. This video was reportedly shared by a witness from an unknown location. According to their account, they were walking home late at night and chose to take a shortcut through a remote, poorly lit area. That's when they began hearing strange noises coming from around them. Feeling uneasy, they pulled out their phone and turned on the camera, hoping to see what was making the sounds. What they captured next is what's now raising eyebrows. In the footage, a pale, whitish figure can be seen moving in a very unnatural way. It doesn't walk like a normal human. Instead, it appears to hop or bounce around the ground. The moment it seems to notice it's being watched, it suddenly ducks down into the bushes below. When the person zooms in, things become even more confusing. The shape doesn't clearly resemble a human, but it also doesn't look like any known animal. Because of the strange movement and the white appearance, many viewers immediately linked this figure to something from Southeast Asian folklore known as a pogong. A pogong is believed to be the spirit of a deceased person buried while still tightly wrapped in a white burial shroud. According to Indonesian and Malaysian legends, these spirits are trapped in that state and cannot walk normally, which is why they're said to hop instead. They're also believed to appear within 40 days after death and are often described as having a strong, unpleasant smell. What makes this harder to explain is the lack of context. We don't know where this was filmed, who the witness is, or whether there are any cemeteries nearby. There's also no follow-up footage showing what happened afterward. Skeptics say it could be a prank, a person in costume, or even edited footage, but others are convinced this is exactly how a pocong is said to appear. Well, you've seen it, so tell me what you think. Now we got someone who gets stopped by their dog, once again in the woods. Now, as we always know, animals have a sixth sense that we have lost over the years. They can see and hear frequencies that we can't. So if an animal stops dead and looks like it's interested in something, you better listen. Got something in my eye.
And he's not going to go any further. No matter how much you try, he's just stuck in bounds. Go up this hill, keep going. Maybe I'm going on a new quest, new mission. What's going on, buddy?
Listen to the dog. Listen to the dog.
I guess we need to go the other mission. Okay.
Immediately as they arrive at a certain point, his dog stops and stares in a concerned expression, as if someone or something dangerous is ahead. The dog then signals its owner to head back. The strangest part about this is that he always does this when going down this trail. It's known that dogs can see and hear things we can't, sensing danger way before we can, and sometimes trusting their instincts can literally save your life.
I've had 5 dogs in my life. The last 2 are brother and sister. They both died at 15 years old. Heartbreaking as it was, but this is what happens when you have animals, you know? The brother died. The brother used to come riding on motorcycles with me. Used to leap up onto the saddle. I had this little saddle bag that I'd stick on the back and it'd jump, and it was a little Shetland sheepdog. Jump in the back and go riding with me. Cute little thing. Sister didn't want to know. Wasn't interested at all. Too scared. But when he died at 15 years old, 2 weeks later, she couldn't live without him and she died as well. But those dogs, what I'm getting at after that ramble, the little boy dog saved my life one day, once again in a wooded area, from a gang of individuals that were drunk out of their skulls, took one look at me and just decided that they were going to start. And I was having none of this whatsoever. Turns out, a couple of weeks later, one of them ended up going to prison for attempted murder. So that little dog stopped dead and was by my feet, wouldn't let me, was trying to stop me from moving forward. And I listened. So dogs absolutely have this sixth sense. So listen to your dog and your cat and your mouse. You got a pet octopus? Maybe listen to that too. Now, throughout all of human history, there has been one idea that never really goes away: doomsday. An end of everything moment that no one can fully explain. We don't know when it'll happen, how it will happen, or what will trigger it, but the fear has always been there, looming in the background. Because of that fear, something called the doomsday clock exists. It's a symbolic clock created to represent how closely humanity is to global catastrophe. Midnight doesn't mean an actual explosion at 12, it represents total collapse, and over the years the hands have been creeping closer. Every major global event moves it forward. Wars, nuclear threats, climate disasters, pandemics, technological risks. All of it adds up. Last year, the clock sat at 89 seconds to midnight, which was already unsettling, but now in 2026, it's moved even closer. The hands have jumped forward 4 more seconds, placing humanity at 85 seconds to midnight. And when you really think about it, it's not hard to see why. The world is packed with technologies capable of wiping out entire cities or even humanity itself. Nuclear weapons, atomic power, experimental systems that very few people truly understand. And that is only part of the picture. Artificial intelligence is advancing faster than anyone predicted. We now live in a world where fake videos, cloned voices, and fabricated events can look completely real. One convincing lie, one misunderstood signal, one wrong decision, and that could be enough to trigger an international conflict. Now add to that the wars already unfolding, rising global tensions, emerging diseases, unknown viruses, and environmental instability. Well, and it starts to feel like everything is converging at once. So as the clock inches closer to midnight, it's no surprise people are on edge, wondering whether we're headed towards something that, once it begins, will not be able to stop. Now we got a video of someone who went missing the day after this was captured. Alright, that's interesting. Apparently he's limping away from something that looks like an alien or something like that. Alright, now we've seen a lot of aliens on this Classified Captures channel. The usual gray aliens with the big heads and all sorts of different things. Rumor has it that there are certain animals that we've seen in the world who we know about as specific species that are indigenous to certain countries that people have done dowsing rods and asked about, and they've turned out to be aliens. Things like octopuses are supposed to be alien species, which is why they're so damned intelligent. I don't know whether I believe that completely, but I've never seen... I mean, that looked like a dinosaur, big long tail and everything else. Looked like it was stalking the guy, definitely. Personally, I think this is AI. I just do. Okay, apparently this video is someone who believes they witnessed a skinwalker. Or a family heard strange sounds, so there's a whole bunch of them that believe that what they're hearing right now is a skinwalker.
Yo. Whoa, where you go? Run. Go. What the hell? Inside.
I did.
Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. He's going to the basement.
You gotta lock it. You gotta lock it now. Come on. Oh shit!
Now, do you know what always kind of makes me doubt the authenticity of some of the footage? Apart from the bad acting, because this pretty much looks like that. It's the fact that the window, when she came in, that window was open, and instead of being so scared out of your wits, you forget about the camera and just close the damn window. She's pointing a camera outside the open window. Now, if that was me and that thing was real, the camera would be forgotten. I would be going around the house forgetting. I wouldn't be filming it all at the same time going, even if it was for the fact that she wanted to make sure that other people witnessed this. You'd be too scared. You'd drop that damn camera and you'd be closing everything up, wouldn't you? Plus the freaky music. If someone else found this footage and then decided to overdub it with the creepy music and all the rest of it, then all right, fair enough. But if this was my footage, I wouldn't be caring about sticking creepy music on top of it or any of this stuff. It would be creepy enough already. I would just want to stick it out there and tell people, what the hell have I just seen? Hold on a second. Did you just see... Did you just see something crawling up from the basement? How did it get in? Is it like one of those Salem's Lot kind of basements where they got the doors in the ground that open up like that and they were open so it went down, or what? Yeah, I don't think this is real, but you tell me what you think.
Yo.
Whoa.
Where you go?
Whoa. Run.
Go. What the hell? Inside. Close it.
I did.
Holy shit.
There you go. To add insult to injury, I have just been informed it was part of a film. That explains that.
Oh my gosh. He's going to the basement.
You gotta lock it. You gotta lock it now. Come on. Oh shit!
After years, months, weeks, and days of Americans demanding the release of the Epstein files, it finally happened. The documents were made public, but now some people are saying they wish they'd never asked because, well, what surfaced was nothing short of disturbing. The Epstein case was already known to involve the abuse of minors, trafficking, and powerful individuals hiding behind wealth and influence. That much was never in doubt, but according to those reviewing the released material, what was uncovered goes far deeper and far darker than most people expected. The files reportedly included thousands of images and videos documenting the abuse inflicted on the victims. Some descriptions coming from people who claim to have seen the material are horrifying. One image in particular has gone viral online. It allegedly shows what appears to be a small human body dressed in a chicken costume. Because of its appearance, some have jumped to the conclusion that it suggests ritualistic behavior or even cannibalism. There's no official confirmation of the interpretation, but the very fact that such images are being discussed at all has shaken people. Adult humans doing unthinkable things to the most vulnerable members of society. Actions so disturbing that many struggle to even process them. Whether every claim surrounding these files is accurate or not, one thing is clear. This case is not just about one man. It exposes a level of depravity, secrecy, and protection that has left many asking how something like this was allowed to happen for so long. And if even a fraction of what's being alleged is true, then, well, calling it evil would be an understatement. This video was shared by two girls who were at home alone when out of nowhere their alarm system suddenly went off. At first, they assumed it was a glitch, but when they checked the security camera feed, something immediately put them on edge. Their front gate was wide open. Just seconds later, they heard a loud bang on their bedroom door. Panicking, the girls didn't stop to investigate. They climbed out of the window and ran from the house terrified. Later, their parents returned to figure out what had happened. They searched the house, reviewed the footage, and checked every room. Strangely, there was no sign of an intruder anywhere inside. Nothing was missing, nothing was disturbed, yet the front gate had clearly been opened. As they continued reviewing the CCTV footage, one clip stood out. One of the cameras was pointed toward the living room facing the oven. And when you look closely at the reflection on the oven door, it appears that something runs across the room. It moves extremely fast and has no clear shape or form. Almost immediately after that, the camera reacts to the movement and turns toward it. But when it does, there is nothing there. Whatever triggered the motion detection is gone. When replayed again, the figure looks like a pitch-black shadow that vanishes as quickly as it appears. The family was left stunned. There was no intruder, no explanation, no physical evidence of anyone being inside the house. So, well, if no one was there, who opened the gate? What banged on the bedroom door? And what was that shadow moving through the living room? Okay, the next video, apparently we got a sick dog man. This is always gonna be the case if your owner goes to the supermarket and doesn't choose the right chow. Maybe it was halfway through its change and it was still half human, and it just went for some pedigree chum or one of these dog foods and then realized, hold on a second, I'm still half human. Sometimes I don't even know where my mind goes. All right, that footage is quite clear. Yeah, that footage is pretty clear. That's not your typical, scratchy Bigfoot kind of footage, is it? From far away, even when zoomed in, that could quite easily be someone in a costume, don't you think? Yeah, I'm not sure what to think about that, quite frankly, but if that is real, then that's gotta be some of the clearest footage that anybody has ever taken. Not just of a dog man, but any kind of cryptid. We all know snow is basically ice. When it melts, it's supposed to turn into water. That is it. But one man woke up one morning and noticed something that didn't make sense. Where the snow had melted, there was no water. Instead, there was a strange sticky substance left behind. It was stuck to the ground, hardened, almost like melted rubber that had cooled and fused to the surface. Snow's not supposed to melt like this. That's why a lot of people are confused. Some believe this could be linked to geoengineering, chemicals released into the atmosphere and later fall back down with snow. Because if this were normal snow, it should not leave behind a solid, sticky residue. Others think it could be a reaction between two different substances. Maybe something was already on the ground and mixed with the melting snow. Maybe road chemicals, pollution, or residue just happened to react in a strange way. Or maybe it's nothing more than a coincidence that looks unsettling. But the question remains. If this were just snow, then what is this sticky substance left behind, and why did it harden instead of disappearing? Ever since the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026, there have been repeated sightings of what many people believe could be Mothman. And it's starting to concern a lot of viewers. Some are even suggesting that this might be a specific season when these sightings increase, similar to how certain animals appear more frequently during particular times of the year. Now, a video was surfaced that adds fuel to that discussion. It was shared by a man who was driving late at night through Delaware. According to him, as he passed a wooded area, he noticed something unusual hovering above the trees, something that immediately caught his attention. He believes what he saw was Mothman. So let's take a closer look. Right there among the trees, when the footage is slowed down, you can see what appears to be a large shape in the sky with its wings spread wide. To some viewers, it looks like nothing more than tree branches and leaves blending together in the darkness, a trick of shadows and low light. But the man who recorded the video strongly disagrees. He insists that what he saw was not an illusion and not just the trees. He says the shape moved and stood out in a way that branches simply do not. To him, there is no doubt about what he witnessed. So now the question's up to you. What do you see in this footage? Just trees and shadows, or something far more unsettling? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Now, after everything we've seen with the previous Mothman video, another one has surfaced. This one was shared recently and was captured on February the 5th in North Carolina by a Ring camera. It was late at night when the camera detected something unusual. You never actually see whatever is flying overhead. Instead, you see its shadow moving across the ground. And that shadow clearly belongs to something flying above. But the size is what immediately stands out. You can see a massive shadow flapping its wings, and it's huge, far larger than what a normal bird would cast. The movement of the wings is also strange. It doesn't move like a drone, a plane, or a helicopter. Nothing mechanical flaps like that. Because of this, many people believe it could be Mothman, especially with the recent increase in similar sightings, which is starting to make some viewers uneasy. But this is not the only report. Another witness, this time from Rodford, shared a chilling experience of their own. They lived near a cemetery and said that one night around 3 a.m., while standing outside smoking, they noticed a shadow moving across the street. Moments later, they heard a strange scream or screech. Right after that came the sound of wings flapping, large wings. So now people are asking questions. Are these just coincidences, or are we seeing a real rise in Mothman sightings? Let us know what you think.
To see it is always greener, somebody else's lake.
Okay, we got merfolk chasing a boat. Well, I've never really believed in the whole merfolk thing. Doesn't do it for me. It's not moving. It's not moving. It's like they've placed the footage there and just popped this AI thing right in the middle of it. It's not moving, it's not staying. If it popped up like that, where the boat and how the boat was moving, the boat would be steadily going away from it. And yet it's staying still and the boat is still moving, which means that that's AI. Sorry guys, that's AI.
No, under the sea, there are no mermen, I can tell you that, take it from me.
An old VHS-style video from Mexico shows two children playing. A small white figure appears in the background, barely noticeable at first, and they think he's a duende. He's gotta be a duende. He's a loco little duende, ah.
Corre que te alcanza. Cuidado con el pot. A ver, hijo, ven acá, tranquilo, no es nada. Corre que te...
I'm sorry, screw the duende. Oh man, that was funny. You see more of the kids than you do of the little guy just walking past, and maybe he stopped to see the little girl crashed into something and thought, should I help her? Should I help her? Nah, then I'm gonna get discovered and there's gonna be problems. I'm just gonna sit there and laugh at the poor little kid the same way the host of Classified Captures just did. What a cruel man.
Corre que te alcanza. Cuidado con el pot. A ver, hijo, ven acá, tranquilo, no es nada.
Over the years, the way people talk about aliens has changed dramatically. What was once dismissed as pure myth and fantasy has slowly begun to be taken more seriously. Stories that used to sound like campfire tales or conspiracy theories are now coming from soldiers, pilots, and former military personnel. Back then, these accounts were laughed off. Today, they're inching closer and closer to the mainstream. In this case, an interview was surfaced involving a former military member who claims he came face to face with a non-human being that arrived on Earth in its own craft. According to him, when the entity exited the ship, it looked nothing like a human. It had no visible ears and large black eyes that immediately stood out. He claims the being began communicating in a language he'd never heard before, and yet somehow he says he understood what it was asking of him. Not through spoken words, but as if the message had been transmitted directly into his mind. What makes this even more unsettling is how familiar the story sounds. Similar encounters keep surfacing again and again. Different people, different places, yet the descriptions remain eerily consistent. Because of that, more people are starting to wonder if these beings are not just visiting Earth, but may have already been here for a long time, possibly even living amongst us. So what do you think? Are these stories exaggerated, or are we slowly coming to terms with something much bigger than we ever imagined? Let us know your thoughts. If you spend enough time online and tend to fall down rabbit holes, there's a good chance you've seen this image before. This time, it's not a video but a single screenshot taken from one. It was shared by a man whose son had been working out in a field, possibly doing construction or some kind of outdoor labor. While out there, the son noticed a deer standing at the edge of the woods and decided to record a short video of it. Later, when he brought the footage home to show his father, they noticed something deeply unsettling. After pausing the video, the man took a screenshot from a single frame, and that is when they saw it. In the image, there appears to be a human figure hanging from a tree, visible only from the waist down. The legs are dangling in mid-air, and we all know what an image like that usually suggests. What makes this disturbing is that according to the son, he saw nothing unusual while he was out there. He insists that the deer was the only thing that caught his attention. He never noticed a person, a body, or anything hanging from a tree at the location. The figure only appeared later when the footage was reviewed at home. Because of that, many people believe the image may have captured the spirit of someone who died at that exact spot. Others argue it could be pareidolia, the mind seeing familiar shapes that none actually exist. And when you look at it closely, you have to ask yourself, does that really look like an illusion, or does it look like something that was never meant to be seen? So come on, tell us what you think. This video was shared by a witness who recorded it while walking late at night, around 3:25 a.m. They were making their way home through a remote area when they noticed something ahead crossing the path. At first glance, it seemed like a person, but something felt off. The figure appears to be wearing a long white robe or dress. From what we can see, it clearly looks like a woman, extremely pale with long black hair. The white dress flows as she walks, and she seems to be holding it up slightly, almost dragging it along the ground. What makes it unsettling is that she never turns around. She doesn't acknowledge the witness at all. She just keeps moving forward, silent except for a wailing sound coming from her. That sound immediately brings to mind the legend of the person that I can never pronounce, La Llorona, the crying ghost woman said to wander at night mourning her lost children. But not everyone is convinced. Some think it could be a witch or some other unknown entity roaming at that hour. So who or what you think she and I use she sparingly here might be? La Llorona, a witch, or something far stranger and more sinister? Let me hear your thoughts. Okay, there's a lady in her house, and she starts hearing an entity that sounds like the voice of a child. Now, anybody who's watched any kind of horror movies know if you start hearing children chanting or making that or nursery rhymes or anything like that, you get the hell out of the house. You sell it, you move up, you burn it down.
Camera this time. When I'm home for the night, and I swear I've been hearing noises. And usually this happens, but this time it died so fucking dark. Please tell me that you can hear it.
That's creepy as hell. You'd need to have a second toilet in the room for me if I heard that, quite frankly. Because there's one thing that I do believe in, and that's entities and spirits. Not so much demons. I think they're pretty much, manifested by the mind and, You tell me, do you believe in ghosts? Tell me in the comments. But I absolutely believe that this is real. AI, yes, of course, you can do anything these days with AI. God, you could do this even without AI. But I know that this stuff is true. I believe this is real. What do you think? And tell me what you'd do in the same situation. I need a new pair of pants.
Camera this time. When I'm home alone for the night, and I swear I've been hearing noises. And usually this happens, but this time it died so fucking dark.
And just like that, we're back to strange creatures once more. This creature allegedly washed up on shore and had residents confused. Some said it was a sea serpent, while others believe it was a baby leviathan. For those unfamiliar with it, Leviathan is a mythological sea monster mentioned in various ancient texts, most notably in the Bible, where it is described as a powerful and fearsome creature of the deep ocean. In the Hebrew Bible, particularly in the books of Job, Psalms, and Isaiah, the Leviathan is depicted as a giant sea serpent or dragon that embodies chaos and untamed nature. Over time, the concept of Leviathan has been adapted and expanded in literature and folklore, often symbolizing a formidable and destructive force. In some interpretations, the Leviathan is seen as an adversary to be conquered, while in others, it represents the vast, mysterious, and sometimes threatening aspects of the natural world. So capturing or coming across a dead baby Leviathan could have had great repercussions. I was getting ready to write a huge expose when Julius asked me to take a look at the guy in black. I was disappointed. It looks like the whole thing is an AI creation. But what do you guys think, though? You see why now, don't you? This looks like our favorite big guy. But the question on everyone's mind is it really him? If you look at the image long enough, though, you'll realize that there's no head present. Now, this bit had us scratching our heads because it's not something we typically see in Trailcam captures. We're not sure if it's a headless being or if the creature is simply looking down. We've considered the possibilities of it being a bear, but I don't think I know of any bear species with arms like that. Aaron has suggested it might be an image captured from a clip. Julius doesn't believe it's real and thinks it's a poorly edited image aimed at deceiving Bigfoot enthusiasts. You see the image, but what do you think?
What the Nah, what?
Yep, that's a UFO shaped like a jellyfish. You don't see these every day, but when you do, they have a way of striking fear in your heart. It's no wonder these individuals had to stop and record the experience. Now, there's not a lot of information on this. We're not told where they are filming or when exactly this happened. What we do know is that they were allegedly driving when they suddenly noticed this strange thing in the sky. They initially thought it had to be a balloon, but after several seconds it became apparent that it was no balloon. They then concluded it was a UFO and uploaded it online to get the opinions of others. In the end, the internet didn't disappoint, although some remained skeptical about the clip's authenticity. You've seen the clip. What do you think?
What the Nah, what?
Mummies have long fascinated us with their rich history, intriguing preservation techniques, and the cultural significance behind their existence. However, I recently came across a rather unsettling piece of information regarding the mummification of women that made me grimace. It turns out that female mummies often look less well preserved compared to their male counterparts, and there's a disturbing reason behind it. In ancient times, embalmers were sometimes caught desecrating the bodies of deceased women, engaging in acts of necrophilia. This horrifying behavior led grieving families to take precautions. To protect their loved ones, families would delay the embalming process, allowing the deceased woman's body to begin decomposing slightly before handing it over to the embalmers. While it's shocking to learn about such a dark aspect of history, this initiative by the families was likely a practical way to deter such heinous acts. Still on aliens, someone uploaded this clip on one of our paranormal platforms, claiming it might be an alien creature. Looking at it, it looks the part, but is it legit though? I'll let you decide that. So I was there when Aaron told me he had got a clip that was going to blow my mind. It was a river on fire. Now take a look. Now that does look like a river on fire, right? Something like a scene from hell. Well, more like this shows that hell is possible. But what explanation is there for this? I did some research and it turns out not everything you see on the internet that you don't understand is AI. It turns out this is possible due to a phenomenon where methane gas produced by the decomposition of organic material in riverbeds or wetlands escapes and ignites, causing flames to appear on the water's surface. This can happen naturally or due to human activities like drilling, which can release trapped methane. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, and its release contributes to climate change. When it escapes from water bodies, it can create visually striking, without often hazardous, river fire events. These incidents highlight the complex interactions between natural ecosystems and the impact of human activities on environmental processes. This was allegedly recorded in Kazakhstan. A couple had just welcomed their baby girl, and like many new parents, they set up a camera in the nursery to keep an eye on her. The nursery door was always left slightly ajar just in case, but one night, while they were fast asleep, something terrifying unfolded on the monitor. In the dead of night, 3 loud thumps were heard. Then, without warning, the nursery door slammed shut with an eerie bang. Moments later, the same thumping sound returned, but that wasn't the worst of it. Out of nowhere, a dark, shadowy entity appeared over the crib where their baby was sleeping. The figure loomed ominously above her, its form shifting in the dim light. Then, as if deliberately, it moved the toy that had been resting at her feet in the crib. This chilling presence hovered for what seemed like an eternity before finally vanishing into thin air. What was that dark entity? A spirit, a shadow being, or something else entirely? There are old legends that speak of a massive monster slumbering deep beneath the earth, some kind of doomsday creature destined to rise and end the world. Most dismiss these as mere myths, but then there's this footage which raises chilling questions. A man came across a strange opening in the ground, a structure that seemed to descend deep into the earth. Curious, he decided to toss a small stone into the hole and listen for what might happen next. At first, there was silence, just the faint sound of the stone falling deeper and deeper into the abyss. But then something happened. A loud, ground-shaking roar echoed from the depths. It wasn't the sound of the stone hitting something hard. No, this was different. It was a primal, guttural noise, almost as if a massive beast stirred below. If this is to be believed and the myths of old are true, then we can't help but wonder what lies beneath our feet and how long before it breaks free. Aaron has theories, and Julius thinks we're crazy. What about you? We've spoken about portals and what have you on this channel and even shown you a few clips, but would you want to see one in action? That looks like an alien ship going through a portal, which then shuts as soon as the ship goes through. I would have loved a bit more context and information with this clip, like where it was taken and when, but I guess if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. Julius isn't convinced about this, and Aaron hopes to get to the bottom of this. You've seen the clip. What do you think we're dealing with here? If you watched our last episode, you would have remembered we showed you clips of individuals wearing silicone faces that look very lifelike. Well, this next clip may just blow your mind. Take a look. Did you see that? No? Well, look at his ears. See it now? It looks like there's a silicone mask over the face of whoever is conducting the interview. I mean, I know as we get older we develop wrinkles et al., but this does not look like that. Instead, it looks like we're looking at a live use of one of those silicone masks we saw in our last episode. Am I overthinking things, or do you guys see it too? Let me know in the comments section.
Ano ito? Oh my God! Ano ito? Litsi. Itakan mo to lang. Look! Oh my word!
We've definitely seen our fair share of weird things in the sky, but what is this? Can anyone explain it to me? We see a massive, thick, black cloud or smoke, and through it we see flames shining. The strangest part is that it looks like some sort of gorilla structure descending toward the earth. I've never seen anything like this before. There's no small capture on a Trailcam. This is something huge. Huge things can barely be hidden. This has made even Aaron skeptical this is authentic. He thinks if something like this happened on the planet, it would be in mainstream media. Julius just thinks it's CGI, and I'm tempted to go with him on this one, but what do you guys think?
Ano ito? Oh my God! Ano ito? Litsi. Itakan mo to lang. Look! Oh my word!
The expression 2 left feet has always been used to describe people like me who can't dance to save their lives. In our next clip, however, it's literal.
This shoe's still on the wrong foot. So then I do it again. What the
Yep, that's a young lad wearing 2 left shoes. Whenever he swaps the feet, one fits and the other doesn't. He repeated this several times, which led to him filming and uploading it online. I know what you're thinking. Why did he buy 2 shoes for the same feet? The thing is, he didn't. His shoes were pretty normal until they weren't. He put them on one day and they just wouldn't fit. This is why he uploaded it online. A part of him believes that this whole thing is a glitch in the Matrix. Some who saw the clip shared the view. You've seen the clip. What do you think of it?
This shoe's still on the wrong foot. So then I do it again. What the
Hello. My name is Thomas. And this is MacLeod. We are inventors in the Lemelson MIT Student Prize Competition.
Students from MIT created these incredible gloves designed to transform sign language into spoken English. Here's how it works. The person signing wears the gloves, which are connected to a computer. Whatever sentence they sign is translated and then spoken out loud by the system. It's one of those inventions that actually makes so much sense and could have a huge impact. Just think about it. This could break down communication barriers for millions of people who use sign language as their primary means of communication. In situations where a translator isn't available, these gloves could be a game changer. Imagine the possibilities in classrooms, public service hospitals, or even casual conversations. These gloves could provide a seamless bridge between sign language users that don't understand it. It's not just a technological advancement, it's a step toward a more accessible and connected world. Wouldn't you agree? More of these, please.
Vendors. In the Lemelson, M.I.T. Student. Prize. Competition.
What would you do if your friend disappeared right in front of you during a bike ride? Confused? Well, this is what I mean.
Hey, we'll stop right up here.
All right, sounds good. Whoa! Jeremy? Jeremy! Jeremy! Jeremy!
These two guys were out on a bike ride on what looked like a mountain. The young behind, who also doubles as the one filming, starts looking around and enjoying the scene. After a second or two, he looks in front of his friend, who we will discover is called Jeremy, is gone. I mean, he just disappeared, leaving his bike, which evidently came to a standstill. In the clip, we see the second rider called out to his friend, and that's just about till the clip ends. Was this a glitch in the Matrix? Many seem to think so. They believe Jeremy may have glitched into another reality or timeline, but is this really the case? Well, some disagree. They think that this has definitely got to be CGI. They believe the clip was edited to deceive the masses. You've seen the clip, you saw the moment he disappeared just like we did. Do you think this is really a glitch, or was the clip edited to look like it was? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Whoa! Jeremy? Jeremy! Jeremy!
Do you believe in time travel? No? Well, how do you explain this? We see a man at a Disney concert with Prime written on the back. At first glance, there's nothing odd, right? Until you move back to the present day and realize there's a drink today called Prime with a similar logo. Did one of their staff travel back in time, or did someone who loves their drink do so? Chances are it's a coincidence because the logo in itself is very simple and easy to replicate. That doesn't mean it couldn't also be time travel. Either way, let's hear your thoughts. Did you guys see that? What happened there? It's not every day you see a basketball blocked off by nothing, is it? A number of individuals think there was some unseen force there. There are also some who think he was going off script and was corrected by the higher-ups. How did they do that? Well, we don't know. There are some more grounded explanations, including the fact that he may have lost his grip. Not sure how that translates into a powerful kickback, but I'm sure we've got some basketball pros here. So can you guys help? Looks magical, doesn't it? My first thought when I saw this was, this must be nice. I felt like whoever recorded this must be living in some kind of fairy tale dream from when I was a child. That was at least the case until I looked in the comments section. There were some individuals from war-torn areas who could swear on their lives that this was definitely white phosphorus. When I came across the term, I didn't know what it was until I Googled it. Apparently, white phosphorus is a highly reactive toxic substance that appears as a waxy white solid and can spontaneously ignite in the air, causing severe burns and health risks upon exposure. It's used in military applications for creating smokescreens and incendiary devices, and in what the chemical industry is producing phosphoric acid and phosphates. Due to its toxicity and environmental persistence, it must be handled with extreme care, stored underwater or in an inert atmosphere. and regulated strictly to prevent harm to humans and ecosystems. So basically, it's supposed to be associated with bombs and explosives. I refuse to believe that's what's going on here, but then again, the world can be a cruel place. Julius thinks the magical part of this clip is animated, while other team members are a bit saddened by this discovery. Any experts on the subject here? Is this really white phosphorus? If it is, are those who are recording the clip going to be alright? Please let us know. We've talked about Mars missions and the pioneers of space exploration on this channel, but did you know there's a wild coincidence involving Elon Musk in a 1953 book by Wernher von Braun? Hold on to your seats.
When can we expect the first humans to set foot on Mars?
Best case is about 5 years, worst case 10 years.
So in 1953, von Braun wrote a book called Project Mars. In this book, he envisions a mission to the Red Planet led by a man named Elon who establishes a Martian government. Sounds eerily familiar, right? Fast forward to today, and Elon Musk has a plan to send 1 million people to Mars by 2050 and start a colony. Do you think the writers of the past could see the future? Well, Julius isn't convinced about the significance of this coincidence, but Aaron believes it and is getting ready to do a big documentary. What do you think? Are we looking at a mere coincidence, or is there something more to this cosmic alignment?
When can we expect the first humans to set foot on Mars?
Best case is about 5 years, worst case 10 years.
A dog owner woke up one morning to an incredible surprise. Their dog was standing on the patio. At first, the scene might seem like your typical playful behavior, but just wait, it gets even better. As the dog starts pawing at the keys, something remarkable happens. Not only does it press the keys, but it also begins to howl, creating a unique harmony. It's as if the dog is performing its very own concert. This canine has some impressive musical instincts. It might not make the charts, but it's a performance any dog lover would treasure. Have you ever seen anything like this?
Okay, so the noise is in the and I'm home alone, right?
This lady was sitting in her room alone, enjoying the privacy until she realized she was not alone. When she looks to her left, there's no one there, but when she looks to the TV, she sees someone sitting next to her. How? The individual appears to be a lady, and she's just sitting there. She uploaded the clip, searching for answers, but only got comments from individuals asking her to leave. Some thought it was an evil spirit stalking her, whereas others thought it was there waiting for a perfect opportunity to unalive her. Personally, not sure how to feel about this one, but what do you guys think?
Okay, so the noise is in the and I'm home alone, right?
Do you trust self-driving cars? If your answer was no, then it might interest you to know that there are some using the feature on their Teslas.
There's no way it doesn't see the 4 flashing lights. Yes, it was foggy, but you could still see the lights. And I was like, it's going to stop. It's going to stop.
This clip was recorded by a Tesla owner who had left his car in full self-driving mode, and it shows the moment a Tesla vehicle failed to stop for a moving train ahead of them. The whole thing is crazy because if the man hadn't manually applied the brakes, the vehicle would have run into the train. Yes, it was foggy, but he believes the car should still have picked the train up, yet it didn't. Fortunately, he survived, but it's got us wondering, can we really trust our self-driving cars at this point in time?
There's no way it doesn't see the 4 flashing lights. Yes, it was foggy, but you could still see the lights. And I was like, it's going to stop. It's going to stop.
Stepping away from strange and bizarre-looking animals, let's take a look at strange or gifted humans, as some like to call them.
Wait, is your foot turned around or is your shoe backwards? That's not real.
Have you seen anyone's limbs move like that? Freaky, right? And don't pause the video to try it. I have a cousin who I've seen do this and more, and believe me when I tell you it's not all discipline and training. Most often, people who do this are double-jointed. These unfamiliar double-jointed individuals, or those with joint hypermobility, can move their joints into positions that are unusual or extreme compared to the average range of motion. This flexibility is often due to genetic factors affecting the ligaments, tendons, and connective tissues, making them more elastic. While many people with joint hypermobility can perform impressive feats and may experience no adverse effects, some may suffer from joint pain, instability, or conditions like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which involves more significant issues with connective tissue. Although generally benign, hypermobility can sometimes lead to an increased risk of injuries and dislocations. So even though they have a special condition that allows them to do all that, they are still prone to injuries. How much more you with ordinary joints? Don't ever try this.
That's not real.
A man lived in a house that he believed to be haunted, having experienced many strange sightings over the years. But one day, something truly unsettling happened. As he arrived home and looked through the metal gate leading to his front door, he saw what appeared to be a hand resting behind the door inside the house. Startled, he rushed in, expecting to find someone, maybe an intruder, or worse yet, confirmation of the ghostly presence he'd always suspected. He flung the door open, but there was no one there. The house was empty, and he was completely alone. The hand had vanished without a trace. What could you have done, assuming this is very real and authentic, of course? This very disturbing footage was recently shared by a group of men who'd set out one night in search of a mysterious and elusive creature. Equipped with a flashlight and a camera, they were trekking through the dark when the unexpected happened. As they walked, the camera caught something eerie in the distance. Just look at that. A shadowy figure moving past, unmistakably something out of the ordinary. One of the men shouted his alarm to his friends, and that seemed to provoke the creature. Within seconds, it launched toward the group, knocking the camera to the ground. You can hear the commotion as the camera briefly captures the creature walking off, leaving the scene in silence. Thankfully, the men weren't seriously injured and managed to get home safely. But this footage, it's intense and unsettling. The creature almost seems too real to be dismissed as a hoax. Its movement and sudden aggression leave little room for doubt. The fact that the men were that close to it and made it out unscathed, however, leaves a lot of room for doubt and speculation. Anyway, what do you think? While taking a walk by a pond, an observer noticed a peculiar creature. Its head and mouth were sticking out of the water with a pair of eyes that occasionally blinked. Now take a look at the rest of its body. It resembles a turtle, but the head looks more like a crocodile. It's like a hybrid of both animals. There are other fish swimming behind it, which is unusual because if this was a wild predator, you wouldn't expect other fish to be so close. Yet it just remains still with only part of its head above water. I know I was just giving you a quiz, but what do you think this could be? I know there are some of us here who laugh at the idea of aliens, but what would you do if you suddenly looked out of your plane window one day and saw this? Yeah, this was allegedly filmed by a passenger on a plane mid-flight. The individual was apparently enjoying the scene when he or she noticed something otherworldly in the sky. The individual tried squinting to make out what the strange object was. It turns out he didn't have to do so for long, since it didn't take too long for the object to move in the direction of the plane. At first, I thought it was a saucer. Then I started to think I was looking at a living creature with tentacles or something similar. What do you see? Also, do you think this could be a sign that they are already here and just waiting for the right time to invade? A man was out fishing at Sali Lake, nestled by the Navajo Mountains, when he captured something extraordinary. From a distance, there was a large hairy creature. You can clearly make out the domed head and broad shoulders. According to the man, this was no ordinary animal. He insists it was a Bigfoot, and he saw it moving through the landscape. The creature's size and distinct movements left little doubt in his mind. I mean, the area isn't known to have any primates, so there's no way to fault his claim. Naturally, the online community can't seem to come to a unanimous decision concerning its authenticity. A large majority, however, believe it's the real deal, but what say you? The Tesla empire is undeniably a major force in advanced human technology, particularly in the realm of electric vehicles and renewable energy. Their innovations are impressive, from cutting-edge autopilot systems to sustainable energy solutions. However, with such rapid progress, there are bound to be issues that arise, and Tesla has had its fair share of complaints. Recently, while in traffic, someone captured footage of a blue Tesla car with a bloated back end. It's unclear what caused this, but incidents like this do raise questions about the reliability and durability of Tesla vehicles. People are left wondering if the benefits of owning such an advanced machine outweigh the potential risks. How many of us here own or would love to own a Tesla? What do you make of these videos? Do you consider them a cause for concern, or do you think people are just exaggerating to make new technology look bad? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section. How do you feel about gray aliens? I know they freak people out and give them the heebie-jeebies. Take a look at this clip. This was recorded by an anonymous individual on his property. He saw something move on his roof, took out his phone to record, and that's when it became apparent that he was not dealing with an ordinary creature. Looking at the body shape, eyes, and maybe movement, it's giving vibes of an alien adventurer or scout. Not sure why aliens would be on his property or how he navigated the whole thing, but it would have been an interesting experience. Like I said, I know people don't like gray aliens, but personally I find them intriguing. If you watched our previous video where we discussed the possibility of them being humans from the future, you would find them interesting too. Anyway, do you think this is real or does it look doctored to you? Let us know in the comments section below. A man was out in the woods after a snowstorm when he started to hear this strange sound. Listen closely. Yes, that loud grunt-like howl echoing through the forest. Residents in the area believe that this is the call of Bigfoot. The legend of Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, has been a part of North American folklore for decades. Descriptions often depict a large, hairy, ape-like creature that inhabits remote forests, particularly in the Pacific Northwest. Sightings are frequently accompanied by reports of mysterious sounds, such as the one captured in this footage. Skeptics argue that these sounds could be attributed to various known animals like wolves, coyotes, or even owls. However, the unique quality of this particular howl sets it apart. It's deeper and more guttural, resonating with a primal intensity that seems different from typical wildlife calls. Local residents who lived in the area for years often share stories of unexplained sightings and sounds, adding to the mystique. Some recount seeing large, shadowy figures moving through the trees, while others speak of finding enormous footprints in the snow, far larger than any human or known animal could make. What are your thoughts? Let's take a look at this fascinating new tech invention. What you're seeing is a demonstration of a groundbreaking material, a self-healing fabric called NanoCure Tech. In the video, a hand holds a piece of fabric, and as the person pokes a hole in it, the damage seems to disappear as if by magic. The individual simply runs their finger over the hole, and just like that, the fabric seals itself back up. This isn't some form of magic, it's an advanced cutting-edge technology designed to enhance the durability and longevity of fabrics. NanoCure Tech uses microscopic self-repairing components that activate when the fabric is damaged. When the fabric is punctured or torn, the nanoparticles within it expand, and when you rub it, the heat contracts the material again, making it appear to be mending on its own. Has a ghost ever photobombed your selfie? Well, that might just be what happened to this girl. She was taking a casual selfie on Snapchat, striking a cute pose late at night in her room. But after taking the photo, she gave it a second glance, and that's when she noticed something chilling. Behind her was the pale face of a woman with hollow eyes, messy hair, and a dark expression. She appeared to be wearing a plain black shirt and didn't have a friendly look. The girl was home alone, and everyone in her family had already gone to bed. So if no one else was around, who or what was this ghostly figure? Ever encountered a vampire? No? Then this is for you.
I'm a rideshare driver in New Orleans. So, of course, I encounter all types of people from all walks of life. So, one particular ride was very interesting.
So this driver picked up a woman who acted rather strange while in the vehicle. The lady started telling her how she loved her energy and what have you. Initially, she didn't think much about it until the woman touched her and she started to feel weird. She asked the woman what happened, and the lady told her that she just leached some of her energy. She told the lady that she was a vampire, just not one that drank blood. No, they feed off energy. The vampire then went on to tell her about vampires that survive off good energy, bad energy, sexual energy, and even blood. There were a tribe that lived in New Orleans, and the lady wiped some of her memory. The lady insists that it happened and something happened to her. She doesn't remember where she dropped the person off and lost 2 hours of her memory after the event. Now, people in the paranormal community have gone crazy with this story, and I can understand why. Some have insisted it was not a vampire, but a demonic encounter. What say you?
She touched my shoulder, and I felt like I just froze. And even as I'm talking to you right now, I can distinctly remember that feeling of feeling frozen.
Still on the unexplained, what do you think this is?
Masya Allah. Itu ikan apa duyung ya?
Looks like some sort of aquatic snake or eel. I've watched the clip over and over and over again without being able to explain what I'm seeing. I tried to do a little research, hoping to discover what this might be. Looking at the clip, I suspected this area was a swamp, so I went on to look for snake-like creatures that live in swamps. I discovered that in swamps, one can find large serpents such as green anacondas in South America and Burmese pythons, which are native to Southeast Asia but also found in the Florida Everglades. There are also African rock pythons in sub-Saharan Africa and various large water snakes like the northern water snake in North America. These serpents are adapted to the wet, dense environments of swamps and thrive by hunting a range of prey, including fish, birds, and mammals. Given the limited footage we have, I can't tell which of these creatures we saw could be. I mean, what's to say it's even one of these and not something otherworldly? Either way, this is valuable information I wouldn't have had if it wasn't that I was confused. What about you guys? Any information and ideas on what we could be dealing with? Let us know in the comments section.
Masya Allah. Itu ikan apa duyung ya?
Let me take you back to 1915 in San Diego, a time when the city was in severe drought. Desperation had set in as the water shortage grew critical, and there seemed to be no solution. That is, until a man named Charles Hatfield entered the scene with a bold claim that he could bring rain to the city. Hatfield, often referred to as a rainmaker, proposed an extraordinary deal. He promised to summon rain in exchange for a $10,000 payment if he succeeded. With no better options, the city agreed to the unusual arrangement. Remarkably, Hatfield delivered a little too well. His method was releasing a mix of chemicals into the air to stimulate rainfall. As odd as it sounds, it worked, but instead of easing the drought, San Diego found itself in one of the worst floods recorded in the 20th century. Rivers overflowed, homes were destroyed, and the damage far exceeded what anyone had anticipated. Hatfield's attempts to save the city turned into a disaster. But what do you think? Was this a freak coincidence, or did Hatfield really have the power to control the skies? Let's take a look at this unusual and fascinating footage. A couple was out hiking with their dogs when they stumbled upon something bizarre in the forest. They noticed the soil in this particular area seemed off. The ground wasn't solid like normal soil. Instead, it was wobbly and bouncy, almost behaving like a giant bouncy castle. The couple couldn't resist testing it out, and as they jumped on it, you could see the soil ripple and bounce under their feet. This phenomenon is not what you'd expect from solid ground, which is typically static and stable. So what's going on here? As you ponder and try to get me an answer, allow me to show you this next clip that was sent in by a subscriber of the page. This was apparently recorded by a security camera in his home. In the short footage, we see a young lady being, or a creature, with the face of a young girl moving around the area where the camera was set up. When you look closely at the timestamp, you can tell it was recorded at 4 a.m. That's enough to tell you that that's not a guest from a costume party passing by. Many who saw the clip believe a ghost visited him. What do you think? A dog owner came home to find something utterly surprising. His bitch Fries was standing on two legs and dancing. Yeah, you heard that right. Just look at how it moves its waist like a human. The dog stood there, balancing on its hind legs, swaying and twisting its body in ways that seem almost too coordinated for a canine. It was like watching a tiny, fluffy dancer showing off its best moves. It's not every day you see your pet dog breaking out into a dance routine, but there is something very eerie about this, perhaps a skinwalker, or am I just being ridiculous? But how? The internet never fails to surprise with its share of people claiming extraordinary abilities. Here's one for the books. A person who believes they have telekinesis, the power to move objects with their mind, and they've provided a demonstration. In the video, the individual is holding a phone in one hand while extending the other arm toward a paper cup resting on the floor. As they wave their hand, the cup seems to rise into the air as if responding to the movements. At one point, the individual makes a subtle motion with their hand, and the cup promptly falls back to the ground. What's truly intriguing is the apparent lack of visible strings, magnets, or other props that could explain the movement. Could this be real-life superpower, or just another clever illusion? Did you know there's a plant that grows natural sponges? Yeah, you heard that right. It's called the loofah plant. This fascinating plant produces a fruit that, when harvested and processed, transforms into the sponges many people use in their kitchens or showers. In this footage, a woman demonstrates how she cultivates loofahs. She plants the seeds and then carefully trains the vines to grow vertically, allowing the fruits to hang freely. This method helps them grow straight and healthy. Once the fruit matures, she harvests it and peels off the outer skin to reveal the fibrous sponge-like interior. It's a sustainable and natural way to create sponges. No synthetic materials are needed. Have you ever seen or used a loofah sponge? Pay attention to the clip. How many horses do you see? 2, right? Well, let's watch for a few more seconds. Boom! There's a third horse. I'm sure you didn't see that coming, did you? Now, when the clip starts playing, we see the first 2 horses approach the one filming. We can see the background, and there aren't any horses. Yet, for some odd reason, once they get to the one filming, there's a third white directly behind the black. How? Well, Aaron believes it's a glitch. Julius thinks it's either a matter of perspective or the third horse was edited in. What do I personally think? Well, I'm thinking what you're thinking, so what are you thinking? Let us know in the comments section. A cat owner recently bought cat food and noticed something extraordinary. The cat on the package was the exact replica of his own cat. The same fur color and pattern, the same eye color, every detail matched perfectly. Now, I wouldn't call this a Matrix glitch, but it's definitely shocking and trippy. Think about it. Out of all the cats in the world, what are the odds that your cat is the exact copy of the one on the food package? While it's not impossible, it's still fascinating to see. This coincidence can make you feel like you're in a surreal, almost magical moment. It's a reminder of how many uncanny connections exist in the world, even in the most mundane things like buying cat food. A woman shared a chilling encounter she experienced while standing outside on her gazebo one night. She admits she almost didn't believe it herself had it not been for the security camera footage that captured her reaction. Let's take a look. There she was, standing on the gazebo, casually typing away on her phone while her dog fetched a ball that she'd just thrown. Everything seemed perfectly normal until it wasn't. Suddenly, she turns around sharply and lets out a scream, her face visibly alarmed. According to her, the reason for her startled reaction was that she felt a tap on her shoulder, followed by a voice that sent chills down her spine. Strangely, the footage doesn't capture any visible figure or presence, yet a terrified response feels unmistakably real. What are your thoughts on this alleged encounter? What would you do if you found a child walking alone late at night? While you think of your answer, watch this.
Tu mamá, mija, tu mamá. Los brazos, mira, los brazos. Te lo juro que no es normal, viejo, no es normal, no es normal. Viejo, míralo.
Two friends on a late-night bike ride came across a girl walking alone in the middle of the road. She was neatly dressed, with her black hair tied in a ponytail, and didn't appear to be homeless or in distress, yet something felt off. She was completely unresponsive to the men's attempts to speak with her. She just stared at them, and when they talked, she silently turned and continued walking. Strangely, the girl seemed to be glowing in the dark. Yes, glowing. One of the men got off his bike and approached her, but his friend who was filming urged him not to. The footage cuts off at that point, leaving everyone to wonder who or what was this girl. Some people speculate she could have been sleepwalking, but that doesn't explain the eerie glow. Humans don't naturally glow after all. Others believe she could be a spirit or something supernatural, considering how unusual the encounter was. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have approached the glowing child or let her walk on into the night? It'd be interesting to hear your perspective, unless, of course, you don't think this is authentic and the glow was placed into the clip digitally. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Tu mamá, mija, tu mamá. Los brazos, mira, los brazos. Te lo juro que no es normal, viejo, no es normal, no es normal. Viejo, míralo.
For the longest time, people have associated the simulation and matrix theory with the movie The Matrix. While the idea gained popularity after the film, some have since tried to find new ways to prove the theory might be true. One man took a unique approach by using psychedelics and lasers. He had participants take psychedelics, then projected a laser line onto a wall and asked them to focus on it. Surprisingly, all of them reported seeing the same thing: numbers, letters, and shapes that shifted and changed, much like the cascading green code from the Matrix. This experiment was conducted with over 100 people who had no idea what they were supposed to see, so it couldn't have been scripted or even a coincidence. So did this man finally prove the simulation theory, or are we all just high right now? This next one comes from security guards who were monitoring their cameras when they saw something that sent chills down their spines. The footage focuses on a remote area with a wooden gate, nothing unusual, until suddenly, out of nowhere, a figure appeared on the other side. What happened next was even creepier. The figure didn't open the gate, it walked right through it as if it weren't there. Then it casually strolled past the camera. It looked human, but something was off. It was hazy, almost glowing, and moved in an unnatural way. Look at that. Is that a ghost? The way it phases through solid wood is beyond unsettling. Who or what could this be? As the days go by, the conversation around UFOs seems to be getting more serious and undeniable. Just take a look at this footage. A passenger flying over New York was filming out of the window when something strange happened. A flat object zipped by at high speed. It's so clear and sudden that it leaves little room for doubt. More and more, we're seeing footage like this, where not only eyewitness accounts but even radar recordings capture these identified flying objects. It's becoming harder to dismiss them as just hoaxes or tricks of the light. What do you think is happening here? Could this be proof that we're not alone, or is there still some rational explanation? Our first video of the day is from a woman who was hiking in the woods one morning. There's absolutely nothing wrong with going for hikes if the area is safe. We can't say the same for this lady, however, as she started feeling uneasy, like someone was watching her while she was out on her hike. Typically, people run when they feel threatened, but she took out her camera and looked around. Despite her best efforts to find whoever was stalking her, she found no one, or at least that's what she thought until she noticed something strange. Ahead of her, between two trees, was a shimmering area, almost like a glass. Something was there with her, but it wasn't clearly visible. It was as if the air itself was bending or cloaking whatever it was. Some who have seen the footage claim it could be a cloaked alien or some form of advanced camouflage. Others suggest it might even be a portal to another dimension. I'm not particularly sure about this one, but what do you think? This next one is a clip that comes from a man in Vietnam. He woke up at 3 a.m. feeling uneasy, as if something was watching him. He got up and looked around and saw nothing until he glanced at the sink on the other side of the room. Under the sink, there was a gap. In the darkness of that gap, he noticed the faint outline of a face staring back at him. He quickly grabbed his phone and took a picture. It was dark outside, so he couldn't leave the room and had nowhere else to go. He had no choice but to tough it out until sunrise. The next day, he took a closer look at the image he'd captured. Sure enough, there was something or someone there. It's not entirely clear, but you can still make out the shape of a face. Not sure how he managed to stay put until sunrise, but that's not the only mystery you have to solve. What do you think that face is, and where could it have come from? If you were confused by what you are seeing, it's not just you. My team and I were confused too, but the info that came with the clip states that it's security footage from the Makani Beach Club in Egypt. This particular footage comes from the camera in front of the club, and it allegedly captured strange lights descending from the sky to settle over the horizon. Obviously, we can't see the whole thing, but the consensus is that this is alien-related. I know there's not much to go on with this clip, but what do you also think? Australia is often the first country that comes to mind when we think about giant spiders, but it turns out that other parts of the world are also home to these creepy crawlers. A video shared by a family in China recently went viral, showing an incredibly large spider they found at the corner of their roof. The size of the spider was so astounding that it appeared to be larger than a human face, making it a truly unsettling sight for the family. The sheer scale of this arachnid left many viewers shocked, and some even questioned how such a massive creature could have gone unnoticed before. With the rise of giant spider sightings in different parts of the world, it's clear that these creatures aren't just limited to Australia, and they're becoming an increasingly eerie topic of conversation for those who encounter them. And while you share your thoughts on that, can you explain what's happening here? The clip starts off showing a man on a phone call. While on the call, he's walking till a wall blocks his path. To address this, he steps back, stretches his leg over the wall, and climbs on top of it like a cartoon character would. The individual who uploaded this called it a reality glitch, but no, this is too much. I believe this clip was edited. I could be wrong, but if it's genuine, then maybe it's time I threw everything I knew about physics away, which, if I'm being honest, isn't much. Either way, what do you guys think is going on here? Please share your thoughts. Take a look at this footage. It's a security camera footage overlooking a neighborhood at night, and something strange comes floating by. It does look like a dark orb moving erratically. There's even what appears to be red flames coming from it. Now, some in the community are saying this could be a witch. Looking at the clip, I understand why they think that. After all, witches are depicted in many different ways across cultures, but one thing they have in common is the eerie atmosphere. Members of my team are skeptical, but let's get your opinions. What do you say? You know how you use band-aids to protect your wounds and prevent infections? Well, that might not be so smart, as you could be picking up something far worse, and by that, I mean cancer. New research indicates that certain adhesive bandages may harbor persistent chemicals, such as PFAS, known for their potential to trigger cancer. These substances are incorporated into products for their resistance to water and oils, yet they can inadvertently become a source of exposure in everyday items. The presence of PFAS in these products is concerning due to its association with serious health problems, including cancer, liver impairment, and hormonal imbalances. A Harvard University study underscores the risks linked with prolonged exposure, even when only minute quantities are present, prompting a closer look at the safety of common consumer goods like bandages. There are supposed to be organic options, but how do you determine which is which, and can you really trust big pharma and big corpos? In fact, someone even asked if it's even safe to breathe in oxygen now. I don't blame them for asking such a question. A passerby captured a peculiar sight in the sky, a helicopter flying with a mysterious object attached to it via a harness. The object appeared to be large and circular, and its unusual size and shape have sparked quite a bit of speculation. Many viewers believe this helicopter might be transporting a UFO. The sleek and unconventional design of the object has added fuel to these claims, with some suggesting it could be evidence of governments secretly studying alien technology. However, others argue that this is likely a mundane explanation, such as a test module, satellite component, or industrial equipment being transported. What's your take on this? Some friends in Finland had set off one night into the woods. There were rumors of a creature that had been roaming the woods at night, and they wanted to see it for themselves, so they set off one night with their camera and a torch. During their search, eerie howling sounds echoed through the trees, heightening their anticipation and fear. They pointed their flashlights and camera toward the source of the noise, and what they captured was startling. A large bipedal and furry creature stood just a few feet away. It seemed somewhat startled by the light but didn't display any aggressive behavior. The creature appeared to watch them briefly before disappearing deeper into the woods. The footage they recorded is not entirely clear, leaving its exact identity open to interpretation. According to the men, the creature closely resembled a dogman. What do you think? If your toilet has been getting clogged, then perhaps this is the video for you. A man was experiencing toilet problems of the clogging kind, of course. Like every responsible person, he decided to call the plumber to come examine his system, and neither he nor the plumber were ready for what they saw. Yeah, that's it. The clip you're seeing is actual footage from his plumbing system. That's a snake, and a large one at that. It's almost like someone who belonged to the House of Slytherin lived in this house before he did. You know, like the Chamber of Secrets from Harry Potter. Anyway, I'm sure they dealt with the issue. Removing the snake wouldn't have been enough, though. They still have to figure out how the snake got in the first place. If this were your home, would you feel comfortable sitting on that toilet seat again? I know I wouldn't.
Lagi makan dong. Bener-bener lapar ya.
A Josi capotada já, com sono. E aí, Thiago, a câmera que eu comprei nova aí.
Bebeu demais.
Vermelhinha e tal.
Louca, mano.
Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Falou?
Mano, eu vi alguma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem alguma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
Maluco. Eu vou voltar a câmera. E você vai ver, velho.
This clip starts off very wholesome, with the young man in question filming and talking to everyone in his home. While he was filming his friend in the kitchen, something unexpected happened. A figure walked by outside, passing right by the window. The guy freaked out because he was the only one who saw it. He quickly ran outside to check if there was someone there, but nothing. The place was empty, with no one around except the people inside the room he had just left. Looks like they have another housemate, a ghost housemate. I did some digging around, and it turns out the ghost looked like a family member that had just died. No wonder they all jumped up. It's a chilling experience, to say the least.
Vermelhinha e tal.
Louca, mano.
Vocês nem esperaram pra festa aí, né, mano? Meu Deus do céu, que porra é essa, velho?
Falou?
Mano, eu vi alguma coisa aqui, Thiago. Tem alguma coisa que passou aqui, velho.
Ih, velho.
Tô falando sério, cara. Tô falando sério. Vem aqui comigo, cara.
Tem nada aqui não.
Eu vi uma coisa assim, cara.
Tá louco, mano?
The ocean truly is one of the most mysterious places on Earth, covering vast territories that remain unexplored. There have been countless stories and legends of giant sea creatures lurking in the deep, with many yet to be discovered or confirmed by science. Recently, some fishermen made headlines when they reportedly reeled in a giant creature. From the footage, it appears to resemble a massive snake with a fishtail, an odd and eerie combination. While the ocean holds many secrets, this footage looks more like a fabrication. The creature's appearance is strange, almost too bizarre to be believed. Julia screamed fake, and I wanted to chastise him for this, but not without having evidence. When I started scrutinizing the clip, I noticed something I hadn't noticed before. There's something funny going on with the hands of the one closest to the camera. No, I'm not calling it fake, but these things typically happen to clips created or edited with the AI, so what do you think? Real or fake? A group of hunters ventured deep into the woods on a mission to capture evidence of a yowie, a creature often described as Australians' version of a Bigfoot. They were prepared with infrared cameras and set up camp, waiting through the night. While the cameras went off a few times, alerting them to movement, the hunters never actually saw the creature with their own eyes. However, when they reviewed the images the next day, they found something chilling. In one of the photos, there was a massive creature standing right by them in the dark. Somehow, it had managed to get close without any of the hunters noticing. The infrared camera had captured what their senses had missed. What do you make of this? Could this be real evidence of the elusive Yowie, or is there another explanation? This clip comes from Argentina, and it captures something that's far from ordinary. Take a look.
¿Lo ves? Y no hay ningún perro. No hay ningún perro. Dios. Y me sigue. Y me sigue.
Do you see it? There's a shadow of a dog following a man filming, and yet when he turns around, there's no real-life dog there. The dog seems to only exist in the shadow world, and I do not need to be the one to tell you that's just not normal. I know you'll be tempted to call this dog turd, but I went through the original poster's page and he didn't seem to have any paranormal clips until he posted this one. Many in the paranormal community who saw this think it might be a ghost dog. I know it sounds weird, but how else would you explain this?
¿Lo ves? Y no hay ningún perro. No hay ningún perro. Dios. Y me sigue. Y me sigue.
If you've always wondered what a futuristic cyberpunk future would look like, you might not have to do that for much longer because we are headed there. This lady wanted to get some snacks from the vending machine, and she was met with an upgrade she didn't know she needed or even existed. To open the fridge, she had to wave her hand to get it open. Once it opened, however, it did mention that voice assist was coming soon. Now, I know that sounds cool and all, but think about it. How long till they require us to have chips in our hands to operate facilities like this? I know it sounds a bit much, but given everything we've experienced in recent years, does it? Don't forget the Smart City document we uncovered a few weeks ago when the fires were ongoing. There's also a possibility that we may be overthinking this, and this is just a technology to keep out thieves and freeloaders. Anyway, what do you guys think of this innovation? And I do use the word innovation sparingly.
Coming soon. Okay? Pretty soon these doors aren't going to be opening. Really thick, actually. But this is where the food is. Wave your hand. Look at that. Why would that be on a door just to get drinks? Just saying.
A man came home one day to find one of these orbs inside his house. It was glowing and emitted a low buzzing sound, almost as if it was electrical. The orb floated around the room, but he did well to keep his distance. He didn't dare get as close as it drifted through his home. In another case, a different homeowner captured footage of a glowing orb at his doorstep. It hovered outside for a short while before zipping away into the woods at lightning speed. All around the world, people report seeing mysterious glowing orbs. These spheres have baffled witnesses for years, with some speculating they're balls of lightning, while others are convinced they're linked to extraterrestrial activity. These encounters raise so many questions. Are these orbs truly real? If they are they just rare forms of lightning, or could they be something more, perhaps some kind of alien technology or entity? Have answers? Well, share them with us in the comments section if you would. And while you wrestle with the authenticity of that clip, this next one doesn't make things easier. Take a look. Yes, sirree, that's not connected to any gas outlet, yet somehow there's a fire which has confused even the individual holding it. When I saw this, I felt there must be a little gas left in the tube, but even if that's the case, well, shouldn't it have run out or the strength of the flame decreased a little at least? Well, Julius couldn't believe me and refused to comment on this, so I'm on my own. Or am I? Can you guys share your thoughts? Do you think this is truly a supernatural feat, or is there some logical explanation behind this?
¿Y me estás flotando? Y no está bugueado. Se ha bugueado la Matrix. ¿Qué coño? ¿Qué me ha hecho el coño? No, ¿qué cojones, yo? Claro, estoy rayado. ¿Qué estás flotando? No me lo puedo creer. ¿Por qué estás flotando un pedazo de paja?
If you were wondering what this is, hold on, I will tell you in a bit. These two friends were out one night in Cordoba, Andalusia, Spain, when they saw something bizarre floating over the Viana Palace. Initially, it spooked them until they realized what it was and started laughing. If you haven't already figured it out, it was actually a bale of straw. Yeah, straw. And the guys are laughing about it, but I don't think this is funny. If this isn't a man-made contraption using thin and invisible wires, then this is surely a cause for concern. After all, a bale of straw floating in mid-air isn't exactly something you see every day. Anyone out there who can explain this to us?
Claro, estoy rayado. ¿Qué estás flotando? No me lo puedo creer. ¿Por qué estás flotando un pedazo de paja? ¿Qué coño es eso? Cojones, man.
What's going on here? This man is standing on a sidewalk with his body oddly twisted backwards. It's hard to imagine how he's holding this position for so long. The video has left a lot of viewers completely baffled. Some people think it's just a stunt. After all, there are plenty of weird things people do for attention in public, but others feel there's something more unsettling about this, say a demonic possession. While I would have jumped on the bandwagon of possession, I have seen drugs like fentanyl do things like this to people. I am like 90% sure this might be a drug issue, but hey, it could be anything. You've seen the clips, so what do you also think? Have you ever had a fabric turn into another color in your hand? No? Watch this. This individual was holding a green fabric and noticed it was capable of changing colors. The person goes out to demonstrate while holding the fabric, and truly it did turn blue from the color green. The question is, how? Many thought it was a glitch, but Julius just laughed. It's all about the light intensity and bulb color, he said. As much as I'd hate to agree with him, I think he's right on this one, but what say you? This footage was captured in the UK. It shows glowing orbs clustered together in the night sky. These objects appear to move with precision and seem to maintain a deliberate formation as they glide through the air. The sight is undeniably captivating and has sparked significant discussion online. Many enthusiasts suggest these could be plasma UFOs. They're believed to be otherworldly crafts or entities composed of energy rather than solid matter. Plasma UFO theories are often linked to their luminous fluid-like appearance and their intelligent movement patterns. What do you think? This man goes by the name Amir Hussein Amdadi. And no, he's not having an eye treatment. What he has in his eye is an eye camera. He's an Iranian inventor who created this device. It's a camera that uses RF transmission to connect to your phone. As you can see, there's a small device on his upper eyelid, and the color of his eye has also changed. With this invention, he can take videos and pictures directly from his eye. It's a fascinating and futuristic idea, but it also raises some questions. How can we be sure that the things we see aren't being collected by the parent company? We've had dolls even collecting user data, so how many more of these kinds of inventions are there? Anyway, would you get one? On one hand, it's an incredible piece of technology that could revolutionize how we capture moments. On the other hand, is that not going maybe just a bit too far? I was watching CES 2025, and I must say that the technological innovations, especially in the area of robotics, are getting wilder and scarier. Take a look at this seemingly innocent robo-dog that many have taken a liking to. I mean, it does look nice and all, but have we really thought about the applications? I know Terminator was just a movie, but it showed us so much that we should have learned from. That doesn't look like it's the case here, though. These things are evolving faster than we have regulations for them. Drones were supposed to be innocent creations meant to help us take better photographs and videos, but today they're being used in warfare, and they're actually eliminating people. This looks cute today, but imagine this on a battlefield, especially given how it's learned to move through different terrains. It could just be locked onto a target, and, well, you know what happens. Autonomous tracking robots sound like a good thing until they're not. A woman shared her chilling experience while she was home alone one evening. Her partner had gone out, leaving her by herself when she began to hear strange noises echoing through the house. Feeling uneasy, she decided to investigate. She called out, switched on the hallway lights, but saw nothing unusual, at least at first. Then she stood in front of a glass door leading to a spare room, and something caught her eye. There, on the other side of the glass, was a pale, shadowy figure. Slowly, it slid down the glass pane as though it were pressed against it. Heart pounding, the woman mustered the courage to open the door, stepping into what was a spare room used as an office with 2 desks and a computer. She scanned the room, but found nothing out of place. Then, just to be sure, she glanced behind the door, and still no sign of the figure. What could this have been? Do you believe in ghosts? No? Well, watch this. A lady was going over her home security cam when she noticed that the camera facing her patio recorded something strange and translucent. Naturally, this upset her a bit, and she went to investigate. The thing about the camera facing her patio is that when you are on the patio, you're slightly obscured from it, depending on how and where exactly you stand. Despite that, there's what looks like a translucent being over there, more along the lines of a little girl. Do you see her? Or it? Don't get me wrong, the child looks a tad ghostly and unnatural. Also, there's no girl living in the property that looks like that. Some have, however, argued that it could be the woman's dog, and all we're experiencing is pareidolia. I get where those guys are coming from, but I feel there's something, or at least someone there. What do you think? When I saw this clip online, I was about to dive into my paranormal theories when a certain teammate who shall not be named looked at it and called it a snow sun pillar. It was new to me, which naturally led me to doing some research. It turns out that these are not paranormal or alien occurrences, but natural phenomena. They're called snow sun pillars and are one of nature's most breathtaking optical illusions, creating vertical beams of light that seem to shoot straight into the sky at sunrise or sunset. They form when tiny ice crystals in the atmosphere reflect sunlight, acting like millions of tiny mirrors. These plate-shaped crystals, usually found in high-altitude cirrus clouds or even closer to the ground in freezing conditions, catch the sun rays and scatter them in a way that produces a glowing pillar-like effect. The best time to see them is on cold, calm days when the air is filled with ice crystals, often after a fresh snowfall. What makes sun pillars so mesmerizing is their shifting, almost ethereal glow, changing its intensity as the sun rises or sets. Unlike sundogs or halos, which form circles around the sun, pillars appear as vertical streaks of light, extending above or below the sun's position. I can go on, but turns out this is real, and it's a beauty to watch. Nothing paranormal here. When you initially look at this clip, the only thing you see is a dense, dark fog. The more you look, however, the more you realize there's something going on. At least that's what the individual who recorded this clip thought, and he was not wrong. After a few seconds of filming, he noticed some lights pulsing in the clouds. They were in the shape of a semicircle, which left him wondering what that could be. He was not into all this UFO stuff when he initially recorded, but that changed when he shared it online. Many members of the paranormal community were quick to point out that he might have encountered a spaceship without knowing it. Given what we know about UFOs and their operations in the skies, I'm not surprised. What do you think, though? Could they really have encountered an alien ship camouflaged in our skies, or is there a more grounded explanation for this? This image, taken in 2020 by a man hiking with his dog in Oklahoma, captures something unsettling. It is a decayed creature's head with part of its mouth gone, revealing its powerful jaws. At first glance, many might think it's the remains of a large dog, but there's something about the structure that has raised doubts. Some members of the paranormal community are convinced that this is no ordinary animal. They speculate that the head belongs to something far more mysterious, possibly a Bigfoot or the infamous Dogman. The jaws are unusually strong-looking, and the decayed appearance makes it hard to identify what the creature once was. Could this be a long-lost creature or something stranger, or is it just a misidentified animal? Speaking of misidentified animals, a bulldog owner thinks it might just be a bulldog, but then again, that's just speculation. What do you guys think? Black magic and voodoo have always been curious and controversial practices, often associated with rituals that raise many questions. When I first saw this clip, I couldn't help but wonder if it was connected to voodoo or black magic. The video starts off looking like someone preparing meat to cook. After adding spices, they placed two dolls in red dresses on the meat. Then they cut something else and tied the dolls together, securing them into the meat with more spices. After that, the person wraps the meat with a red rope, covers it in a red cloth, and ties it again. The meat is then placed in a cooking tray surrounded by vegetables, and here's the unsettling part. Candles are placed all around the tray on the floor. What could this mean? It feels like a ritual, but whether it's related to voodoo or something else entirely is unclear. In many cultures, red is a color linked to power, blood, or intense emotions like love and rage. And dolls, especially in voodoo, are often used symbolically. Could this be some sort of ritual for binding, protection, or harm? What do you think is the purpose behind this bizarre act? Could anyone with experience in this share them with us? With that, we end today's episode of Classified Captures. Thank you very much for staying with us. Now, have you got any clips? Have you got anything that we can play on this channel? If you do, you will get credited for it. classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. Remember that. Send us stuff. I might react to it. I might just talk about it. If it's that bad, I might not do anything with it at all, but you never know unless you find out. So send us your clips, guys. Now, do me a favor and also share this with everybody you love. Share this with anybody you don't love. Just share this. Just share this. And on top of that, remember, go to the community section because I will be doing another video answering your comments. There's already stuff up there. It's an interesting place to go. Go to it. Anyway, Steve out. I'll see you next time.